It's one of the most famous, one of the most dramatic encounters in history. A kiss offered not in love, but in betrayal. Judas had planned everything. "Greetings, Rabbi," he said as he walked toward Jesus and casually offered the kiss. What he had not planned or expected to have happen was this: Jesus looking him in the eyes and saying, "Friend, why have you come?" That wasn't in the plan. Surely Jesus knew why he came, why he was there. I mean, earlier he had hinted to all the others that one would betray him, and he knew who it was going to be. So why would he say, "Friend, why do you come?" Judas had guessed that Jesus would probably say something like this instead: "I knew this was going to happen." Or he went say to his disciples, "See, I told you this is what was going to take place. One would betray me." Judas definitely did not expect Jesus to say, "Friend, why have you come?" And why call him friend? Jesus was the one who treated him with nothing but perfect kindness and friendship for 3 years. And yet Jesus called him friend even as he betrayed him. Judas must have started to second guess himself at this point, don't you think? He probably wished he could undo what he had just done, but he couldn't. It was too late to call things off. The soldiers were already on each side of Jesus. Judas was pushed away as they grabbed him. But wait, he wanted to say, wait, what is it that I see in the rabbi's eyes? What is that? Betrayal is one of the deepest agonies of the human soul. There is no underestimating the pain of a treacherous kiss offered under the guise of friendship or love. Only a trusted friend can wound us so deeply. Only a friend gets close enough to betray us. A stranger can stab us in the back, but it takes a friend, someone we know very well, to break our heart. For anyone who's been betrayed, the pain is indescribable, right? And the questions are unavoidable. Why did he do that? Why was he unfaithful? Why did she say that about me? Why did he turn his back on me? And then our hearts become encased in hurt, and the pain turns to anger, and we ask ourselves different questions like, why did I ever trust him in the first place? How could I have been so blind? Why didn't I see this coming? That look Judas saw in Jesus' eyes. Yes, even Christ bears the wounds of betrayal. We tend to think only of the marks on Jesus' body without considering how his heart was beaten too. Jesus suffered that day, inside and out. Why? Why did Judas betray Jesus? It's a question that's been asked many times. Some say it was for money, but others say it had more to do with this. Listen.
I've been a disciple of Jesus for a while now. And he's quite a man. I've seen him cure leprosy. I've seen him cast out demons. I've even seen him change the weather. But he's not our deliverer. I thought he would deliver Jerusalem, but he's a spiritual leader. His kingdom's not physical, and he's not a king. He's just a man. But the people believe in him. And if we let him go on, everyone will believe in him, and then what? Right now we have freedom. We have partial freedom with the Romans. But if we let him go on like this, then the Romans will respond. And we put our whole nation at risk. We put the temple at risk. Let's do it your way. You're right. It's better for one man to die than for the whole nation.
Four months' wages.
Judas didn't sign up for a Messiah by the sword. That's what he signed up for, not miracles by the sea. And together he thought they were supposed to defeat the Romans. I mean, Judas was into power, not poverty. He was after just rewards, not justice for the downtrodden. Jesus just wasn't what Judas wanted. He didn't live up to his expectations. In his opinion, Jesus was going about everything all wrong. He had let the Jews down by not getting them out from under Roman rule. And so, as illustrated in this video, Judas just convinced himself of who the Messiah was supposed to be. And so, in his opinion, it was probably better for everybody that Jesus be removed from public life. And that's when he said to the authorities, okay, I'll tell you where you can find him. I'll even use a kiss to deliver him right into your hands. But that plan went all wrong. It went all wrong when Jesus looked at him and said, friend, why did you come? Friend. How could he call Judas friend? And why did he have to look at him that way? In the eyes of Jesus, when we look into the eyes of Jesus, like Judas, you see a heart that's being broken to pieces by deceit. And Judas just says, but why? Why be broken over me? He wondered. Hearts are broken only when you love and when you really believe in someone. And then that is when Judas was just undone. That's when his heart was moved, when he started to realize he loved and believed in him. But a man couldn't be that loving, could he? He asked. Unless he really was the Messiah. And that's when Judas was hit with the truth, undone, and what he'd done to Jesus sickened him at this point. Now, despite what we might think, the pain of the betrayer is terrible too. Why? Because the betrayer must live with the agony of using a good friendship or a good relationship to cause harm, and the soul doesn't take that lightly. Whatever is gained through betrayal, whether it be wealth, popularity, a new spouse, or a new relationship, it ends up causing a hollowness on the inside. You've heard it said before, the wages of sin is death. And it's because when we sin, the soul begins to die. We're told in Matthew 27, 1-5 this, when Judas saw that the decision had been made to kill Jesus, he was very sorry for what he had done. So he took the 30 silver coins back to the priests and leaders, saying, I sinned, I handed over to you an innocent man. And the leaders answered, what's that to us? That's your problem, not ours. So Judas threw the money into the temple and went off and hanged himself. Remorse set in. Agony possessed Judas, I'm sure. And he maybe did try to explain to the authorities, saying something like, but Jesus wasn't guilty of anything. I made a mistake. He's my friend, and maybe the only friend I have ever had. But that meant nothing to them. Nothing. There was a lot of good in Judas. A lot of good. Bad people don't hang themselves. A real betrayer is torn, tormented, pulled in two, double-minded, unstable. Judas made the worst deal ever. He should have gotten a lot more than 30 pieces of silver for a part of pure gold. It wasn't enough. The person who betrays a friend or a spouse often finds the reward much smaller than they ever imagined. As it turns out, their own heart shrinks in that transaction. And Judas's heart shrank to the point that he didn't want to live anymore. Sadly, Judas never knew that his betrayal didn't kill Jesus. Sadly, he never knew that this Messiah would lay down his life to set people free, to release everyone from a greater oppression than Roman rule. And he never knew that he came to release us from the sin that lives in the human heart. He never knew. He missed. He missed getting to experience this life-changing truth by just a few days. He missed knowing God's love, God's forgiveness. He didn't know that God's love can forgive betrayal. I just ask that you look at the cross, you look, and just imagine yourself looking into Jesus' eyes. Because the love that we see in him, the love that we see there can melt deceit and lies. It imparts truth. It brings forgiveness, which is something the human soul just can't live without. God's love forgives betrayal, and God's love saves the betrayed. So for those of you who might have been hurt or betrayed by someone you love, well, know that in God's embrace, we find the deepest understanding of our agony and hurt, and God knows the pain that comes from being betrayed. And in love, he shows us personally how we can remain strong in the face of it all. God's love saves us in betrayal. It saves the betrayed as well. You know, some days we think we've got it hard, but we don't. Not while we still have the freedom to learn and grow and make better choices for the future. The hard way is never having another chance. The hard way is spending eternity looking at everything we've done wrong over and over and over again. And the hard way is choosing to live without the grace and forgiveness that's offered so freely. When we live without, that's the kiss of death. When Jesus and the disciples gathered in a large room upstairs for the Passover meal, it was while they were eating that Jesus said, "I tell you the truth. I tell you the truth, that one of you will turn against me." One of you will betray me. One of you eating with me now. It's one of the 12, one who dips his bread into the bowl with me. Son of Man will die, just as the scriptures say, but how terrible it will be for the person who hands the Son of Man over to be killed. But while they were eating, Jesus took bread. He thanked God, and he broke it. He broke it, saying that this is my body broken for you. Take and eat this in remembrance of me. He also took the cup. He lifted it. He gave thanks. And he said, whenever you drink this in remembrance of me. Because this is my blood poured out, representing a new agreement that's made between you and God, forever. This blood is poured out for many, he said. In 1 Corinthians 11, it says, on the night Jesus was betrayed, he took bread and broke it, saying, this is my body broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me. You know, you've heard those words said many, many times when we gather at a communion table. But you know, I wonder if after hearing it so many times, people hear it and begin to think that maybe it was after Jesus was betrayed that he took bread. But no. It was on the night when Jesus was about to be betrayed. It was just a couple of hours from being betrayed that he took bread. While his betrayal was in progress, he took bread. On the night he was betrayed, he took bread. Amazing, isn't it? Even though we betray Jesus, even though our thoughts, our words, our actions are ungodly at times, and we're not always in keeping with God's will, he breaks bread, and he invites us to remember him. As we sit and listen to Caitlin sing for a moment, I just ask you to remember, God's love can forgive betrayal. God's love forgives every sin. Jesus truly is a friend of sinners.